I sat there and I was like, can I have like some time to think about my next move? They're like, yeah, for sure, but you're gonna get out of the Navy anyway, so whatever. Like, kind of wrote me off, right? And I came back like the next day and I said, I'm going to commission and I'm going to be an officer. And they're like, what? Like, do you even have your degree? I was like, hell yeah. And I like had all the paperwork. Now it's like, this is what I'm doing. This is my goal. I'm going to become an officer. And they're like, yeah, but having this hole in your heart that's going to stop you, it's going to be like a huge fork, right? And it's okay. Let me go through this obstacle. Let me do this and I will show you. And most people don't get picked up on the first time. Like you submit this package to become an officer. I submitted my package and I heard back within a month and a half and I made it. And I was like, booyah.
Join me, Jeremy Swick, on Into the Unknown, a podcast that delves into the personal journeys, stories, and experiences of individuals across diverse professions. As a historian by trade, I firmly believe that our personal histories shape our present and offer valuable insights into our paths ahead. With that being said, let's get into it. Episode of Into the Unknown, I am joined with a very special guest, Megan Neyen. How are you doing today, Megan?
Awesome. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. I'm in Wisconsin right now, so I'm very, very jealous of your background.
The blue. San Diego. It's a chilly day, 64. So as I'm in a tank top.
I'm a little envious, but I lived in Atlanta for years, and so I moved back to the cold, and I do like it, so I can't complain that much.
Hell yeah.
One of the things about networking and the way we usually kick off the show is talking about the importance of it and just how people are all connected and how important it is to meet people and get to know people wherever you might be.
hmm
So, the way in which we are connected is through Instagram, but
hmm
more importantly, it's through rugby.
Rugby, yeah, it literally opens up a world of people, all different people from all different walks of life. It's it's amazing. Like you meet one person and it's so small, and then that one person knows your best friend, or that one person knows your cousin, right? And then you're just opening up, and it's the same thing I say about the Navy, right? It's so small, but then once you're in, you meet everyone else who's in it. So it's really cool.
It's so great that you mentioned that. And of course, if I'm going out with friends locally, we might run into obviously teammates, but also teams we play against if it's a small enough city like Milwaukee where we played
Yeah.
against each other and all that. But then it's when we travel somewhere outside of our kind of base and we run into people, especially tournaments. Anywhere you can go, you might find someone, especially if you're wearing something rugby related.
Always. That is always it. You have something rugby on your shirt and someone's just got rugby. Hey, I play. And then now you're networking again.
It's so funny because, depending on the time where you are and you get an opportunity to talk to the person, there is a good chance they know someone from your rugby past or present.
Oh, 100% they do.
It's funny. Most recently, we had a guy join our team, and in Milwaukee, and of course, get to talking. He had lived in Boca Raton, Florida, for years. Through a couple more conversations, I learned he actually played with one of my teammates in college up in Eau Claire,
See?
Wisconsin, and it's just such a small world.
See, it just brings people together. I'm telling you.
But we can jump into it. I want to know that comic book issue number one, that origin story. Who are you and where are you from?
Megan Neyen, previously Megan Pinson. I'm from Fallbrook, California. Went to Fallbrook High. That's where I started playing rugby. I then, after Fallbrook, I graduated, went to AIC in Massachusetts. From Massachusetts, I went to Central Washington. Central Washington was when I got way too many concussions and I stopped playing for a little bit. Went down to Sacramento, lived in Sacramento, started playing for Life West, and I started playing again. Played for Life West, and then took a hiatus from rugby, became a personal trainer, went to Lindenwood to coach, and I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity to bring me back into rugby. Started coaching there. Um, from there, COVID happened, and I told myself when I was in high school, if rugby ever stops for me, I'm going to join the Navy and I'm going to be a Navy diver. So it was a perfect time to like, all right, now it's time to do that job. Enlisted into the Navy. Once I enlisted, I went to dive school once I made it through the whole pipeline. That was in Florida. I started playing rugby again because I was like, wow, if I can take a blow to the head, like through all this training and they're hitting us so hard, I can play rugby again. So I started playing in Panama City. They just started the love for rugby again. From there, I went and tried out for the PR7s. I made the loggerheads. And then from there, I moved up to Groton, Connecticut. That's where I was stationed. And I started playing for Beantown. Played for Beantown for a year, made the locals PR7s team, and then I made USA. So, and then now I'm in San Diego and I'm about to move to Hawaii. So that's a little snig bit, like a tight, small about me.
No big deal. No big deal at all. No, that's incredible, Megan. I want to
Hey,
rewind a little. What got you into rugby to begin with?
oh my gosh, the funniest. Okay, I love working out. I love running. I love all of that. But when I was younger, oh, no, you don't touch me with that. Like running, all of that, no way. So my junior high PE teacher, Mr. Hernandez, will never forget him. He told me that I was so aggressive with the boys during like lunch and everything, and he was like, "Listen, if you," and I was a cheerleader at the time, and he was like, "Listen, if you just try out for the rugby team, if you just try out, just try out, you don't have to run the mile." And I was like, bet, I'm doing it. So I go to the practice and I was like, I'm not even gonna like be into this. The tryouts was so much fun that I was like instantly hooked. And I came back the next day and I was like, Mr. Hernandez, why didn't you tell me about rugby sooner? Because this is the best sport ever. And I brought my sister into it. I was like, Sammy, you have to come play rugby. So yeah, and then it just was all uphill from there.
When you started playing at the higher levels, did it feel pretty natural? Were you pretty gifted to begin with, or was it a learning curve?
A little of both. I like to think I am a very athletic human. I've always been fit. So like the fitness tests, like the Broncos, easy. All of those kind of things, like super easy. But it was learning the new plays. So I know like there's like this huge thing about ADHD being so cool now, I guess. I don't know, but I have ADHD and it is a deficit because learning something I can't learn as fast as others. So we'd go over a play and I'd be like, "Oh my god, what was that? Oh, wait, I need to do that over and over and over again before I get it." When it, once I was at a higher level, we do it once and all the girls are like, "Oh yeah, that was easy." Like that's that play, you know? And I'm sitting there like, "What?" Freaking out like, okay, let me get the salt and pepper shakers, let me just, and then I go here and then this, okay, that makes sense. But once I got that, it was smooth sailing. So it was just a little extra work on that part, but athletic wise, no, I felt like I kept up.
When did the USA being on the USA team kind of become either a reality or an actual goal for you?
It's been a reality since I have started. So playing, I was always in the age grade, and it was always, yeah. And the next step is, for the women's national team, and I would just get concussed, and it's been very hard. Like I can now, being older, I can see how the concussions have actually like hurt me in a way and how like my brain actually functions now, but it's nothing that like you can't overcome. But going back to that, I was in college, high school even. Coming out of high school, I was the number one recruit in the nation. And then going into college, it was like I was dominating. I was doing so amazing. And then I would get injured. And it was fine, I have to start all over. And then once I joined the Navy. And once I started playing with Panama City, it was that mindset that kind of changed me. And that was like, I can get injured as many times, but I'm going to make this USA dream come alive because I've been on the brink like this whole time I've been playing, my whole career. I've been like, yeah, you're going to make USA up concussion. Yeah, you're going to make USA up concussion. So once I got to Beantown, I made it my goal that I am just going to ball out until I get that. And for some way, I'm religious. God really helped me through that. So, yeah.
Megan, I think it's so important. You talk about, I think the best word for that is resiliency. Do you see, did you have that same kind of experience when you decided to actually join the Navy? It's one thing to talk about it a lot, but then to actually do it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. So the program that I went through was diver, right? It's special operations. It's we you could work with the SEALs, EOD, everything. There's only 5 women in the whole Navy, like 5 of Navy divers, and I was one of them. And having that as you're going through training, the men don't want you there. The men, like as much as they say, like, oh, it's all equal opportunity, bull crap. Because I got so much crap from others, and but it was that resiliency of like I have a goal and I put all my eggs in this basket. Okay, I'm gonna do this. And once I did that, it was I'm gonna put all my eggs into this USA basket, and I'm going to do that. And then now as I'm going through life, I'm kind of seeing like you put your eggs in a basket, you're gonna do it. You just have to have that mindset to do it and put yourself through it and have a good attitude, and things will happen for you if you work for it. So yeah.
Megan, you mentioned putting your eggs all in one basket. Can you give me an example? On everyone's journey, there's a fork in the road. They can go east, they can go west. Can you give me a time where you just made a decision and just went for it?
Oh, absolutely. There's so many. um, when I just went for it was so another unfortunate thing with my brain, right? I'm diving and there's this thing called an arterial gas embolism, right? It's like the worst thing that can happen to divers, and that happened to me. It's when like the bloodstream goes up to your brain and it can stop the oxygen getting to your brain, right? And it can kill you. And it was I was in a fork in the road that we found out that I have a hole in my heart. So and that's what happened with my AG. That's what happened, and being told like, hey, you have a hole in your heart, you cannot be a diver anymore. Your dream has now just been like you just became a diver, you're diving, now you have this hole in your heart, you can't do it anymore. It's either get out of the Navy or find a different rate. And I took that and I was like, my world's ending. You know what? I'm done. Right? Like I could have been so miserable. I could have just yeah, I'm getting out of the Navy. But my whole dream was to serve this country and to show like to give my positivity to others, right? And I can't do that if I'm not in the Navy to me. And um, I sat there and I was like, can I have like some time to think about my next move? They're like, yeah, for sure, but you're going to get out of the Navy anyway. So whatever. Like, kind of wrote me off, right? And I came back like the next day and I said, I'm going to commission and I'm going to be an officer. And they're like, what? Like, do you even have your degree? I was like, hell yeah. And I like had all the paperwork. Now it's like, this is what I'm doing. This is my goal. I'm going to become an officer. And they're like, yeah, but having this hole in your heart that's going to stop you, it's going to be like a huge fork, right? And it's okay. Let me go through this obstacle. Let me do this and I will show you. And most people don't get picked up on the first time. Like you submit this package to become an officer. I submitted my package and I heard back within a month and a half and I made it. And I was like, booyah. Like this fork in the road, like this whole thing that it could have been so sad or so awesome. And I made it awesome. I made it amazing. So I'm really proud of that.
Megan, that's incredible. You seem like an incredibly driven person. I want to ask you, what drives you?
Everything. I don't know. Like I think it's the way that it makes me feel. I love happiness. I love that feeling of like doing something hard or not just proving someone wrong because that's not the feeling, but it's like showing your worth, right? Like and once you have like that self-confidence of I know who I am and I know what I offer and I know what I bring to the table. So I don't care what anyone has to say about me or think about me. It starts to like just lift you in a way, right? Like and as I carry myself through the world, that's what drives me. It's that feeling of like I can make a difference. And I want to see other people smile because of me. I want to make a joke and like they laugh. Like that's such a good feeling. Or like doing something hard and then people like, oh shoot, like you do that, you're crazy. Yeah, I am crazy. I am crazy. And I love it, like you can be crazy too. And I don't know, that's the main driving factor is I don't know, like growing up, my parents didn't go to my rugby games, and that was all that I wanted in life was come to my rugby games, right? Like come to my rugby games. And never really happened. So I feel like me proving to myself is now the driving factor.
Megan, I love that you touch on that importance of self confidence. I tell people that's such an unlock in so many different avenues, whether it's work, relationships, life in general. When you believe in yourself, that you, I wouldn't, maybe it's the audacity to actually achieve what you say or what you're setting out to do. It's just, you have a lot of people that I think more than at least for me, more than I realize, that are cheering you on, maybe from the sidelines, or you haven't talked to them in years, and they come up to you like, "Hey, I thought you were going to do that," or "I'm excited you're doing that," or maybe, "Hey, I didn't think you were going to do that, and you actually did it." So it's just such a
Yeah.
incredible feeling. I try to encourage people to embark on.
Yeah, I 100% agree because there's always going to be people not in your corner. It's inevitable, right? There's always going to be someone who is making fun of you for something. It doesn't matter what, but it's going to be something. And or pick apart your insecurities. But it's not about them. It's not their journey. Are they paying your bill? Are they are they going through this so-called like hell with you? Because if not, don't bother with them. Wish them well and hope that they can find the self-confidence that you have. And that's all that you can do.
I couldn't agree more. And you mentioned your journey, your own journey. Title of the podcast, Into the Unknown. We're all on our own journey. What's next for you? What are you stepping into?
Ooh, what's next for me? I love this question. So next week I have a marathon, and then next month I have a triathlon, and then in June I have an Ironman, and then hopefully in July I have the All Navy triathlon team. So I have a lot to like work towards. And then there's also the World Cup this year that I missed a some of the plays like where they went last year, like South Africa, because I was at OCS, right? Like I was becoming an officer. So I feel like I have to work a little bit harder to get my spot back, and that's okay. Nothing new to me. And I just hope that I can. And if not, I'm gonna try again, But right now, I'm focusing on doing this triathlon thing and keeping fitness alive, and because I may not be in season with rugby right now because I mean rugby's not in season right now, but overseas it is. But you know what? I will kill that frickin' Bronco. All right. So I've gotta take your wins where you get them.
I think every back on my team is loving this statement of doing your Bronco. Now the
They're like,
forward
heck
in me, I
yeah.
don't know about that. We'll get there eventually.
What's crazy is I'm a forward. Okay, I'm a lock. I'm like, okay, if I can be the fittest lock, hell yeah, I'm about this. Yeah.
My goal is always, be the fittest one who's not the least out of shape. I'm
There
getting
we
there.
go.
It comes and it goes. As long as I'm not last, we're doing all right.
You're like, oh, he's behind me. Oh, we're good. We're chilling.
Good. Just going off rugby, I want to ask you, that first cap. What was that feeling like? What was going through your mind at that time?
That was in Spain. Um, oh my gosh, that was against Spain too. I remember getting on the field and I was okay, get this. This is hilarious. Um, I was so nervous but so excited. We have a line out. I was the line out leader at the time. So they're like, it was, okay, Megan, what's the call? And I look at them and I made something totally up. That wasn't even a call. They're like, sounds good. All right. Completely backed me. Um, we messed up that line out, but it was that mess up that made the next line out. amazing. We won the ball, ended up scoring off of that. So it was that mess up that made me realize, wow, they really like they do support me. You know, like having that support system is so important. So the fact that I called something and it was totally something else, and they went and they still like supported me, and then we made the next one so much better. That was amazing. But that feeling of like, holy crap, I'm nervous. What if I mess up? What if I mess up? Okay, I messed up. Congratulations. Everybody messes up. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And, and then after, I had a great game. And I was like, holy hell, this is doable. I'm here. I'm doing the dang thing. And I just remember like smiling the rest. I think I went to bed with a smile on my face. So that was that feeling.
I love that. I love that you mentioned that. I think the fact that you said support, it's such a cool, amazing thing about rugby at so many different levels. When you play with someone, you trust them, and I mean, they're more or less your friend for life. I mean, you might not
Hmm.
see them every day, every year, for decades. I've been in so many rugby weddings; it's absurd, and it's just one of those things where I think it's tough to explain to people who haven't played.
Hmm. They're always there. Like literally. Um, I have friends from all around the world. I have friends from high school. A team, there's a girl from Fullerton, right? Fallbrook and Fullerton, they hate each other. Hate each other. But me and her name's Mackenzie, we still talk all the time. How? Why? All of our different walks of life, and we're still friends. Crazy. Crazy. But
So
yeah,
it's incredible.
it's awesome.
What's a piece of advice you'd give to your younger self?
Oh my gosh, everything. Just do it. Keep a smile because that that sets you apart is that smile. And I did that. So I feel like all my mistakes in life, it ended for me to be where I am today. So if I could just keep smiling through it all, even that asshole who hit me in my Prius and left a dent, watching you, I'm still smiling, okay? But just positive attitude. A positive attitude is very infectious and it goes a lot further than anything.
Megan, I love that you said it. It's so important to be positive, and I call it, practical optimism. Obviously, the world isn't always sunshine and rainbows. You're going to have bad days. You're going to
No,
have terrible days, but at the end of the day, life is pretty good, and it's just always keeping that internally to remind yourself when it is tough, when something you were excited about didn't work out, or you have a fork in the road and it doesn't go the way you anticipated.
yeah. But that's the best part is when it does get hard and then you look back and you see that like you made it through something that you thought that you never would be able to make it through. That's that positive, right? Like that's looking back and being like, wow, I'm a lot stronger than I ever thought I was. And then you have that chip on your shoulder of like, I can take on the world. And then when you do have those really crappy days, it's, well, I get to go to bed and wake up and hopefully it is not as bad. And that's worth living for. So,
I just want to thank you again for taking the time to talk with me today.
thank you so much for having me. I love talking about this stuff. And I don't know, that was really nice. So, thank you.
That was another fun episode of Into the Unknown. I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen. And if it provides you any value or entertainment, I would love if you shared it with others, liked, subscribed, and really just help the podcast grow. Again, tell a friend, tell a foe, just anyone who might enjoy hearing some stories of people's own journeys and what got them to where they are today. Till next time.